Hello traders, Gates Adams, the Forge Trader here, and welcome back to episode 9 of The Inner Game of Trading, where I translate concepts from the book The Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy Gallwey into trading concepts through the lens of the Forge Trader. Alright, for 8 episodes we've been identifying what's breaking your trading. Self-1, interference, the blueprint, conditional trust, misplaced attention. But underneath all of it, underneath every pattern, every trigger, every session where execution falls apart, there's a more fundamental problem. Most traders are playing the wrong game. Not the wrong strategy, not the wrong market, the wrong game entirely. And once you see which game you've been playing and what game you're actually supposed to be playing, everything in the series clicks into place. This is that episode. Gallwey made a distinction in his work that most people in the performance world have never fully reckoned with. He said there are 2 fundamentally different competitive frameworks. The first is competing against someone else, against an external standard, against a result. The second is competing against yourself, against your own potential, against the gap between who you are now and who you're becoming. And he observed that performers who competed against external standards were more reactive, more brittle, and far more susceptible to interference, because external standards are unstable. They move, they shift, they depend on factors that are entirely outside of your control. Performers who competed against an internal standard, their own process, their own execution, their own defined identity, were consistently calmer, more focused, and more capable of sustained high performance. Now translate that directly into trading. The wrong game looks like this: competing against the market, trying to beat it, trying to prove something to it, reacting to it like it's an opponent that needs to be defeated, or competing against other traders, measuring your P&L against what somebody else made, feeling behind, feeling like you're missing out, feeling pressure to perform at their level. Or competing against your past self, trying to replicate a great day, trying to erase a bad week, trading the ghost of last month's performance. All of these are the wrong game, and here's why they destroy your execution. The market doesn't know you exist. It has no opinion about you, no investment in whether you win or lose, no response to your anger, your hope, or your desperate need for a specific result. You cannot compete with something that isn't competing with you. And every second you spend treating the market as an opponent to defeat, you're burning energy on a game that does not exist. That energy, that emotional fuel, it's feeding self-1. It's generating interference. It's collapsing the quiet mind. It's destroying process trust, and it's pulling your attention off the process inputs that actually matter. Every concept from this series traces back to this one root: playing the wrong game. So what's the right game? In the Forge Trader philosophy, we don't compete with the market, we don't compete with other traders, we don't even compete with our past performance. We compete against one standard: our own process. Did I follow my rules today? Did I execute according to my identity? Did I honor my process under pressure? That's the only scoreboard that matters. And here's what changes when you start playing that game instead. The market becomes neutral. It's no longer an adversary. It's just a field of information your process engages with. Other traders become irrelevant. Their P&L has nothing to do with whether you executed correctly today. Bad sessions stop being personal. They become data, pattern recognition, information your process can use. In the Forge Trader philosophy, we define mastery as this: nothing is a problem, everything is information. That's not a mindset trick. It's the natural result of playing the right game. When you're competing against your process and not the market, a loss that followed your rules is not a problem. It's data. A trade you hesitated on is not a failure, it's a pattern to examine. A bad session is not proof you can't do this, it's a signal about where the process needs work. The wrong game makes everything personal. The right game makes everything actionable. And actionable is all you need, because actionable leads to adjustment. Adjustment leads to execution. Execution leads to identity. And identity built through the right game, played consistently, leads to everything else. Tomorrow is the final episode, and if you've watched this series from the start, tomorrow is where everything lands. So make sure to follow this account now so you don't miss it, and share this episode, episode 9 specifically, with the trader who keeps measuring themselves against the markets, against other traders, and against anything other than their own process. This is the episode that could change the way they see the whole game. So now you know the game you're supposed to be playing: internal, standard, process over market, identity over outcome. But here's the question that we still need to answer, the one this entire series has been building toward. What does it actually look like when the inner game is won? Not theoretically, not as a concept. What does it actually look like inside of a real trader, on a real session, in a real market? When Self 2 is operating freely, the blueprint has been seen and integrated, and the quiet mind is present, and the right game is being played. That's tomorrow, the final episode, the complete picture. Episode 10, tomorrow. Don't miss the landing. In the meantime, stay forged, and I'll see you in the fire.